everybody. Welcome to Indiana Story. Craig Hall with you. And we find ourselves today, southern Indiana. Very special place. Look around. A lot of industrial here. But let me tell you something. That's just one little key to what we're doing here. Let me introduce you to my friend here, Hugh Patton. Hugh, how are you?
Pretty good. Nice to meet you.
All right. Tell them where we are.
Welcome to Sculpture Trails Outdoor Museum here in Salisbury, Indiana.
Sculpture Trails Outdoor Museum. If that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know what will, folks. Tell us, what is Sculpture Trails?
So it's an outdoor sculpture park museum that's really got a strong focus on metal arts, like cast iron especially. So
we're surrounded, folks, by hundreds. How many sculptures are out here?
I think there's about 180 or so that are installed out in the park right now. Yeah.
And so the park is just trails through these beautiful rolling hills here in southern Indiana.
There's about 180 of them, and most of them were made here and installed here. So a few of them have come from other places, a few from other countries, but most of them were made here, installed here. So during our workshop, yeah.
So lots of different artists.
Yeah, artists from all over the country, all over the world. We've got a lot of international artists as well throughout the years, and yeah.
What launched this endeavor here? Do you know?
So Jerry Massey, who's the director of Sculpture Trails, grew up here. Actually, like this is his family's land that he grew up on, and some of the early trails were first formed on him as a kid on his dirt bike, and it kind of organically grew into what it is. He's an artist, sculptor, and one of the big issues with sculpture especially is, where do we put these things that we make, or having a place to display the work. So it's kind of started off as he put a few pieces out in the woods, and then he had friends that came, and then, long story short, it's really developed into what it is today.
It's an amazing location. We are right now, we're just in one of the buildings on the property. What is this workshop?
We call this the studio or the foundry barn. It's like the foundry or the /studio.
But you nailed it a minute ago when you talked about how it's finding a place to put these pieces of art. Yeah, they're massive, they're metal, they're huge, they're heavy.
Yeah. And I think one of the really cool things about this place is how these pieces kind of interact with the environment. Like museums and galleries have certain connotations to the work that's in them, and same here. It's just a different environment. So the pieces really can speak to or play off of the woods or this natural environment. It's really cool.
It's gorgeous out here, folks. We are located close to the town of Salisbury, correct?
Yeah, we're in Salisbury, which is about 30 minutes away from Bloomington, which is like where the college campus is, and kind of the closest town, bigger town, yeah.
So close to Bloomington, about 30 minutes outside of Bloomington, Salisbury, Indiana. And I look around, I see all kinds of heavy-looking equipment. But what's really intriguing to me is that out in the yard there. What are we looking at?
So this is one of our iron furnaces named Lady D. It's named after Jerry's mom, Diane. So we have a couple here on the premises. This Lady D is our main furnace, and then that other one is Lady Roy from England. Jerry used to go to England, and a lot of the workshop is kind of modeled after this workshop in England that he used to go to with some artists. But this is basically what we run in July for our workshop. Every month this July, we just ran over like 30,000 pounds of iron in July alone. Wow. And that's kind of typical for July workshop. So that thing rips metal.
So you're creating your own molten metal, forming it in the shapes that you need to pound out and turn into these pieces of art all around us.
Yeah, pretty much. So all this debris is the chaos leftovers from an iron pour. We make sand molds. Everything that we cast is made from a sand mold. So it's basically silica sand mixed with a type of resin that it sets and it hardens, and then that's what we pour the metal into. So during the workshop, we have several artists in here each week we have about 6 or so, and then we have about 15 to 20 intern artists, but they're basically the crew. They make all the molds, they run the furnace, they pour all the metal, and then once it's cast, we bust them up and clean them up and install them in the woods. It's a lot. That's the easy, or that's the shorthand, but it's a lot of work. The process with this work and foundry stuff, especially cast iron, each step is like so labor intensive. The making the pattern, making the molds, running the furnace, and then after the thing is cast, it's the chasing and the cleaning and the grinding and then installation. So it is like all the artists that do this stuff really love the process because it is a really special one.
So where are your artists coming from?
We get them from all over. The cast iron community is pretty tight knit and also pretty widespread. So this year we had a lot of artists from Texas. We had some artists from LA, New York.
Wow, all over.
Really really. We had an intern from Poland this year. There's a big Polish connection too. We have a lot of artists from there that do cast iron, but
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And this is open to the public.
Yeah. It's open every day. It's free to walk the trails and check out all this art, which is, I think, and I know it's part of Jerry's kind of goal and plan with this place is to make art accessible to the public, and especially like this community and nearby, and also education. Like we do, people can sign up to make little scratch blocks, which are small sand molds that they carve and we pour. And then the workshop is like such an educational thing. Like all these artists from all over, a lot of them are still students.
Yeah, it looks like I see a tour group over there right now.
Right now, so we're prepping to pour some aluminum, which is what we do for the most part for like off season. People can sign up for that, and iron's a little bit more labor intensive, so we only kind of do that in July. But
yeah, and you talked about all the work, the grinding and polish, all that to get it together. But when I look out here at this hillside and I see sculptures up that, I would think hauling those things up there and putting them in place has got to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, it is, and we have some like tractors and farm equipment, but a lot of it is really just like artists and interns and volunteers, like hands, a
lot of sweat labor there.
And this place is really special that way. It is really like, it's open to the public and it's for everybody, but it really is like an artist space run by artists, for artists, and it's a really, really special and unique thing. And as a working artist, it's huge. It's amazing.
When I first heard that this existed, I knew that we had to come here because it's very, very unique. And not only are you here appreciating this beautiful scenery, now you're going to add in this artwork from these amazing artists from around the world, dotting the trails. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to get up there and take a look.
Heck yeah. It's really, I love it. I love it here. This place is, it's so special to me. I don't know.
I love your action.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look.
Okay. All right, I'm going to hand you off to the artist in resident here. I got some work to do.
All right, well, thanks for your help, Hugh. Hi, I'm Craig.
Hi, I'm Mari. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All right, so you are the artist in residence. What's that mean?
It's basically part of a 2-year program where an up-and-coming artist gets to come out and they get to utilize the facilities here and make their own work, but then they also help maintain the trails and restore all the sculptures here and help make a lot of the sculptures here.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of these sculptures. Like, what is this thing right here?
This one is actually really cool. This is our Art of Knowledge, and this was done by Jack Grahn. So this is a steel piece with 6 different cast iron plates that we made down at the foundry, and each of those plates are around 350 pounds. So it took a lot of work to make them, to get them up there. It was a lot of back pain.
That detail is amazing. So that was all cast in some of that sand that we saw. They poured all of that.
Yes, exactly. So all these pieces here, if you look at it, it looks like a bunch of random things like shoe prints and monkeys and all this.
I see the dustpan. That was the first thing I saw.
So the dustpan is very special. It's been here for probably 10 years and we just won't get rid of it. It's held on by like a string and has a hole in it, but we won't get rid of it. So all the pieces that you see in this casting come from people all over the world that were inspired or influenced by Jack Gran, who inspired Jerry Massey, and he's the founder of this place, Jerry Massey. And so all these sculptors from all over the world sent something that makes them think of Jack Gran or makes them think of casting, and it becomes this arch of knowledge. So like what we know about casting comes from someone who taught us and someone who shared their knowledge, and it's how we keep it alive. You keep the fire alive.
That is amazing. That is what a cool story. So there's so much symbolism in this little piece right here. There's a lot more to that dustpan than just being a dustpan, right?
Oh yeah, it's a metal copper dustpan. Makes no sense. It's all bent and doesn't really work, but we won't throw it out.
I love it. So is this, I guess it's obviously an entrance. I see a few sculptures out here on the hill in front of us, but this is the trail right here, right?
Yeah, so this is the trail. So if we go through this Arch of Knowledge, we could go up to the first gallery, which is where some of the first sculptures at Sculpture Trails were installed. And all the stuff you see here, all the trails, this used to just be forested land. It's just family-owned land. And so everything was cut and made by hand by the blood, sweat, and tears of interns and volunteers and good people.
And residents.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, let's take a look. Show me some more. This thing's amazing right here. All right, so this is, you said gallery 1?
Yeah, this is the first gallery that was made at the Sculpture Trails.
This is just awesome.
Yeah, this is cast iron and steel. Amazing work that this person did.
Well, everywhere you look, right here, you call this like a gallery space. It is. It's an outdoor gallery. Everywhere I look, you've got something. But there's one special one you wanted to show me over here. What is this?
Yeah, so this was made by the founder, Jerry Massey. And this is cast aluminum, this piece up here. And it's about him and his wife wanting a baby. And they tried so hard and they couldn't have a baby. And so this is her kind of reaching. I mean, if she could pull a baby out of the sky, she would have. And, you know, finally they were blessed with two amazing kids, and their two boys, Gavin and Nolan. And they grew up with all this foundry stuff. So to them, they're the best casters that we know. They don't even know it. They're like 12 and 9. They're like, oh, that's wrong. You got to do it like this.
That's a great story, and a great backstory for the piece. It's beautiful. It's an amazing piece.
It really is. It invokes so much emotion, and that like wanting to try so hard to start a family, and that reaching, you know, for your goals, and that's something that's missing from your life. And we're finally blessed with awesome kids.
What's interesting about this is that you have this backstory for this piece, and so often when you look at art, you don't really know the inspiration of the artist, and it's left for you to try and interpret what this means or what it means to you. But that story and that sculpture means that to me when I look at it. It's very moving. And do we know a lot of the backstory on some of these sculptures?
Oh yeah, I think that's a part that really, I don't know, touches my heart at least, is that all these pieces come from people coming together and helping each other out and having a story. And so sculpture can't be done alone. I mean, you can, but it's terrible, you know. Imagine doing that alone. So everything has a story, and everything has people who help make that sculpture happen.
It's amazing. Let's take a look at some more. I see everywhere we go, we've got amazing works of art surrounding us here. Now, how many people do you get out here?
I would say we get about 200 people on a weekly basis, and then for some of our bigger events, like Fire at Night, which is the last Saturday in July, we'll get around 2,000 people who come out. And they come out from all over. There have been people who come out from Germany, and I've seen people come out from California, and
wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's an amazing thing. What can you tell me about that?
So this piece is quite interesting. It's made out of a bunch of different materials. And so this is made out of rebar, which is a steel. It's made out of cement, and it's made out of cast iron. And so this is a portrait of the artist as Janus. And Janus is the Greek god of duality. So this is used as a portal. And when you stand in the middle here, now you live in duality. You live between the black and white of life. You live between the, happy and sad. And you can kind of have this moment of peace. You're in duality.
I love it. I love it. It's not just visually appealing, it's functional.
Yeah, it's an interactive sculpture. So it's nice to come here and you can just be like, take a breath and just be like, oh, I get to be in this moment of being in nature, but seeing this industrial stuff and, kind of washes away some of the troubles of everyday life.
It does. I'll tell you, folks, it does. Being out here, it's very peaceful. It's very, well, the trees alone are beautiful. Once you add the talents of these artists and their work, it takes it up to a whole nother notch. The combination of the two, it's something else. Where should we go now?
Oh, we can come to this piece over here if we come just straight around the trail.
So how long is the trail? Is it, a mile or how many?
I believe it's a little bit under 3 miles. So if we come down here, this is one of our international sculptors.
Wait, you said just 3 miles.
Yeah, I believe and that's like if you do loops and stuff, which we have 181 sculptures. So it's crazy that we could fit that many on such a short amount of trails. But this is 50 acres of family-owned land.
Well, see, I was thinking 3 miles seems like a lot. That seems like you could get a lot of sculptures out here.
Oh, yeah. I think we're close to 200 now. And we get about 10 to 15 more every July.
Oh, really? So that's like the time when you put the new ones in, or?
Yeah, that's when we get our big cast iron workshop. So a lot of interns or artists from all over the world will come, and they have an opportunity to install their work here for at least 2 years. And so that really helps young and up-and-coming artists to display their work without the having to pay for a gallery or, how hard it is to kind of get your name out there.
Yeah, we were talking to Hugh about that, art like this is so big, so heavy. Finding a space for it's got to be difficult. It's not like a painting I can just throw on a wall.
Oh, yeah, and that's why it takes so many, many hands make light work, basically. And so in this gallery, before we had things like cranes and stuff, it was like 8 people with like 2 bars, and you carry it all the way up the hill, and you go, ow, 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 not like this. Oh, my God, okay, put it down. All right, it's installed. Let's go get another one. So thankfully we have better equipment.
This one doesn't look light. I'm going to tell you that right now.
It does not look light. So this is all cast iron with a steel base, and this is done by our international artist Caro Burberry, who came from England. And so if you look at this, it kind of has a feel of an angel. The wings. And so she went through a terrible ordeal where she had thyroid cancer, and she was diagnosed in the 60s, so they didn't give her much hope.
Right.
And so through sculpture, through art, she really felt this empowerment like an angel, like something else was just helping fuel her with this energy to heal and to make work and to live. And so she's very inspiring, and she's such a proper lady, just oh my, and and then she makes amazing work like this. So it's a kind of a contrast.
I felt the wings, the bird almost feel very delicate. It feels
Yeah.
like massive.
Yeah, and this is all like solid iron, so it's delicate, and then it's like, oh man, you can't lift that alone. That's probably 200 plus pounds just for this part.
So I see in front of all the sculptures there's a number on the ground. Is there something that you can look these up to understand more about them, or?
Yeah, so in the beginning of the trails where it shows like a visitor's welcome kind of area, they have pamphlets, and it shows a map of the trails, and then all the numbers correlate to the name of the piece and then the sculptor who made them and where they're from. And you can find that online as well.
Oh, that's great. So folks, you can come here. Maybe Ari won't be available to give you a personal tour, but you can get all the inside information on these pieces and understand what they're about, the artists, where they're from, and I guess where they're located on the trail, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a nice, easy map where it has silhouettes, so it's pictures. And I need that personally.
So this is Gallery 1, you say. How many galleries are there throughout these trails?
Oh, we probably have, I don't know, 4 main galleries, and then along the trails we have sculptures as well.
I can't think of a better atmosphere for a museum, quite honestly.
I agree. This place is really inspiring, and not only the setting, but the community that comes here. Like, we call it our Iron Tribe, and it's people who just come from all over who are crazy passionate about the same thing. It's like finding the same people who are really interested in one niche thing, and you just all work together like a hive mind, and you're able to make amazing sculptures.
So, do you have anything in the park yet?
I do. I have a one piece that I made probably 4 or 5 years ago. It's right down the hill there that we came up on.
You didn't point it out.
Well, you didn't ask.
We're going to see it before we get out of here. Let's take a look at some more, though. So the one that you're bringing us to now is one that you brought over from England. It had been created and made there.
Yeah, so it was created and made there, and it's a really incredible story of them bringing it back. It's this
sounds like
piece.
it. Yeah, it sounds like a massive undertaking, knowing how much these things just weigh.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And this one looks like it's got a plaque. Is this?
Yeah, so this talks about the Save the Sculpture in Public Places program, which this has basically been such a big community effort to get all these pieces. I mean, these are masterful works that were going to be demolished.
Yeah. So when did they save these sculptures?
I'm not quite sure. I think like 2005 or something like that, they started saving these sculptures.
And we can see these around the town of Bloomington as well.
Yeah, so they're at the public library and they're at the hospital, and it's really incredible to have that kind of culture and art so available to the public, and that's what we try to do here. We don't want people to have to pay to see art. Art should be free and help benefit the community.
It's just a serene place. I could imagine doing a picnic out here.
Oh, yeah, and we do have picnic benches, and people do it all the time. They'll do like a family reunion up at the tobacco barn and eat their lunches and then go see the sculptures. And
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I love it. Is this the trail going straight ahead here, huh?
This is the trail.
There's so many trails. I see sculptures back off into the trees. Like it's what's great about it is that they're almost hidden, but not quite. Like if I look through here, what am I looking at here? That is something else.
Yeah, so this is a cast iron piece done by Peter Leon. And so he'll take that sand that you saw and then carve into it and make these like crazy designs that he does. And they're like mandalas.
I love how each little window kind of frames the forest in a different way.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of kind of having an outdoor museum, is that now you're not just dealing with white wall galleries, which can be fine, but I think it's kind of special to see like the trees and the foliage, and as the seasons change, so does the sculpture.
I bet. Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, the light changes everything, so everything behind it, I assume as well. It's just amazing place, and I never would think it would be right here in the middle of Salisbury, Indiana.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Let's take a look up here.
So this piece is quite incredible. This is all cast iron, and so this has a steel pipe running through it. So I like to think of it as it's like a marshmallow on a stick, but our marshmallows are cast iron. So they're really heavy.
I love the texture on it. It almost looks like it's coral, cut coral,
I could see that.
or just a very crudely chiseled piece of stone.
Yeah, this was originally foam, and then we made that sand mold that you saw, and then we were able to pour iron into it. And so when we did this, we basically took all these individual pieces, our marshmallows, and we put them over this pipe. And so it was hard and took a lot of people, and we were just, oh, put it up, no, put it down, oh, God. Okay, we have 8 more.
So did you assemble that on the spot here or move it up here like this?
No, we assembled it here, and it took a bunch of us, and we had like a scaffolding, and we were just like okay, we're gonna be very careful with this. And it was a lot of grunting and our backs hurting, but we did it.
I bet. So most of that takes place in July.
Yeah, most of it takes place in July because that's usually when we have a lot of help. We have like 25 to 30 people who come out in July, and then in the off season, basically any other month that isn't July, it's just me out here. So it'd be very hard for me to do alone. I mean, I got the muscles to do it, but
I think you do. I think you do. Okay, so you said that we're coming up on probably the most romantic story of the park.
yeah. So sculpture trails. Sometimes there are certain romances that happen here, and there's a good amount of people who have met their significant other in life coming to the cast iron workshop. So this
Really?
is an example.
It's a love making place here, a love match. I love it.
We make art, and then we find someone as crazy as us, and we're like, oh, I think I'll marry them.
So this is it?
Yeah, so this was done by Teresa Lynn, and she was actually my professor at the University of Wisconsin in Whitewater. And this is a cast iron woman. And so she was here doing the workshop one summer, probably, 12 years ago, something like that. And there was this man who was here, Garrett Krugerman, and he was very fond of her. And she did not give him the time of day. She's like, oh, he's brash. I don't know about that. And so, he tried to romance her, and she's like, I'm just here to make sculpture. And so they were alone in that barn that you were down at, the Red Barn. And Garrett turns on music and then holds out his hand and says, shall we dance? And so those two danced in the barn all night, and now they've been married for about 12 years, something like that.
Wow. And so this is her.
Yeah, so this is her. So this piece is called Come Here, Go Away.
And it's a combo piece, though.
Yeah, so this is its partner, which is Garrett's piece, and this is Shall We Dance?
Oh, I love it. So they each did their own piece to put this together.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. So now I get it. Yes. It's the love story of the park here.
Yeah, it's our favorite Valentine story, especially because Tree just wanted nothing to do with Garrett, and now they're a great iron couple.
This is beautiful, amazing. Everywhere I look through these trees, ladies and gentlemen, you just see some incredible artwork. Thanks for bringing us out here. This was so much fun. This place is amazing. How old is this place?
Oh man, well this is a family-owned land, but Sculpture Trails I think is over 20 years old, something like that.
20 years old, and I've not been here, and neither have you, folks. So next time you're looking for something to do, you need to get to Salisbury, to the Sculpture Trails. And let me tell you, it's truly part of Indiana's story. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
When I dream about the moonlight on the